So one thing I'm gonna start off by saying is that when it comes to the conversations I have had with people, I do highly respect those more people more that do justify their actions and their personal values based on their own experience, their own history, and research they've done, rather than subscribing to any religion or any political organization that they're subscribed to. And that's the gist of it. And as I continue to ramble on, I hope I make more and more sense as I go on. Because this is something I've been feeling since really like I was 10 when I started to make more and more friends. It's that I am very logical, I'm very practical, and I like things making sense. That's why I study history. I want it to make sense. I want to find the reasons why things happened, why the injustices you see all over history have occurred. I want to see the reason why somebody does something. I find it curious. And when they stick to a group they're subscribed to, a dogma they support because they're obligated to, rather than research they've done, rather than their own personal history, I just find that cowardly. I know this may be harsh and direct. And before I continue, I just want to say I don't apply this to kids or children. I'm going to turn 22 tomorrow. And, I'm not going to put this type of thought process on any kids. Frankly, I have had this type of observation and confusion with people older than me. Whether they're 6 months older than me or like 60 or 70, who have seen a lot of America's political era advance. So that didn't make sense, but you get what I mean. And, I'm going to try to back up my points. So, about it being cowardly. I really think think it's a sign of weakness. Or a sign of, not doing any more research outside of, the college major you're studying, that you don't have more respectful reasons to back up why you do something, why you have the personal value you're subscribed to or you apply to your life. Like, have you done the research on a political policy rather than subscribing to any political group? Because doing your research, that's more respectable than subscribing to a political policy because a politician in your state said so. I mean, for one, believing in something because the leader said so, that's a cult-like mentality. And speaking of cults, with religion and religious dogma that people use to justify any type of action they have, whether it's negatively affecting somebody, positively affecting somebody, or somebody's way of life. I'm not going to judge a group of people for that. That's their culture, that's their collective, way of life that has made them successful. But you living in the United States, or you studying very questioning, critical thinking subjects. Stick to something that's merely a belief. I study history. I know what religion can do. And for people to simply dodge the responsibilities they maintain for or by going back to religious dogma. That's something that always disappoints me in somebody. And I will back this up very soon, but let me clarify something. I got ADHD. A lot of my friends do as well, or they have some type of special learning disability. And we have never once placed the responsibilities of any positive or negative actions or any personal values we have on something that, isn't here. We have never done that because, it's not a good reason. It's a coward's way of justifying or going back on something they have subscribed to or something they do. I'm not going to turn around personal value or political belief I have or political policy I support. I'm not going to base that off of my ADHD or like the way I think, right? I simply think logically. I think logically and practically, and if it's useful or not in my life. That has nothing to do with my ADHD. And that's what I mean. It would be cowardly of me to fall back on this with my special learning disability. Same thing to me applies with people that use religion or politics, political parties, to retreat back to whenever somebody disagrees with them or somebody questions their beliefs. And now, what are examples I've come across or people have applied to me. For example, I don't like sports. Like, I've never liked it. I never worked well with it. It's always cold sweat. Too much men. Or like, I'm joking at that. But, it was just never for me. Like, it's not practical. That's why I think. Spending 3 hours a day on something I'm not passionate about. That's my 9% of reasons why I do the things I do. And it's not because somebody told me to. Frankly, I got into sports because somebody told me to. And I severely regretted that for the 10 years I did Pee-wee sports. If you want to do sports, go ahead. But the point is, I feel satisfied with that reason, that I don't do sports because it's not practical in my life. No matter what, maybe fame can come with getting the shit kicked out of me. I don't see that, I don't see the practicality in that. I don't see it being a logical step for me to take in my life. Meanwhile, I do workouts. I work out 5 days a week. 50 minutes of cardio and 2 days of core, 3 days of damn, my lazy eyes went crazy. Oh my god. That 3 days of arm workouts. That my inspiration is power metal because power metal's awesome. That's why I do things. That's why I work out by myself in the gym, rather than doing an equally physically demanding sport or activity, aka sports. It's because it's practical in my life. I'm on my own schedule. I'm doing workouts I need to prioritize, of which is more easy for me to complete. with the same amount of results. Sports, tough as hell. Sports, I meet people I don't like in sports. Whether I'm watching it with drunk fans or whether I'm with roided up dude bros that don't have any value for human life. Meanwhile, meanwhile, working out, I get to socialize when I want. I get to be quiet however I want. I get to do whatever workouts I want, all the while being productive. All the while it is practical in my life. All the while it is a personal value I subscribe to because it works for me. And that's like, what I do. When I play games, it's on my own timetable. And I see it as instant feedback for constructive criticism whenever I get something wrong. That's why I play games. I like that instant feedback compared to doing like writing essays, which is also fun, which is also something I'm very good at, but it doesn't give me that immediate, you messed up, you should restart, which I like. And here's how, which I like. So, like with I remember more so in high school than college, that all these people were subscribed to like this, like the Patriots. Since I'm from Massachusetts, everybody love wrangling the Patriots or supporting them or wearing their gear. I do it because, I don't feel like spending more money on like winter clothes. But in terms of unironically supporting it, I never saw the logic. And their own reason was because their mom or dad said so, or because their friend said so. Again, that is group mentality. That is subscribing to something you don't like. You may not feel value in. And I hope I'm making sense here. If I'm not, for one, it's 9:20, and I've had a long day of homework. And second of all, it's a tough topic to talk about. Because I'm trying to say, again, that I respect people more that base their personal values and justify their actions on, the experiences they've had, their personal histories, their research on topics, rather than subscribing to a group. I mean, I hate peer pressure. I don't peer pressure my friends unless, like, we gotta get in the car, we gotta go home, come on. It's getting dark. And, I also read because it's fun. That's why I read, the books I do. Right? I find it fun. I find it practical and applicable in my life because, the more knowledge I get, the more perspectives I get, which I love. I love learning about other people's ways of thinking. And if they are bad people, I at least want to get into their mind so thus I can pick apart their insane way of thinking more. Like, that's why I read. It's practical for me. It's logical. It's personal value I like. And I'm going to talk about a touchy subject, so, skip ahead. If I look like this again, that's when you can click back on the video. But, with people I met, sex, alright? Very few of my friends have had it, at least with the guys I live with and most of the guys in my hometown. No, I haven't. And you want to know why? It's because I don't trust people that much to the point that they will get that close to me. I don't trust people enough to get that close to me in a physical way. That's my reason. Some people have heard that reason as well. They don't trust others. In this day and age, you couldn't, or you really can't. I understand and won't question any man or woman's thinking about not doing the birds and bees because, I've read history. And I think, to quote the creator of Andor, most people were the products of rape because uh, unfortunately tyranny and chaos was way more rampant. Like, the reason why every single time a medieval army all across the world would never mention like them raiding or rampaging through towns they're invading, it's because it's such a common action they do that it's not mentioned. It's just in the back of historians' minds for the time that, yeah, they did that. They did mass rapes and murders on people. If that's the case with most human history, I don't blame people for not getting that close or having that having that barrier around them that prevents people from getting that close with them. I have that. A lot of people I know have that. But then there's the people I've met that use religion to shame those that have had sex and use that barrier to also not have sex. Like, one person I've known, she says she doesn't want to do it because, and we were just talking as friends. Like, she says she doesn't want to, she just doesn't feel right about doing that with anybody, even though she's like straight. Like, you know what? That's fair. That's like, I'm not going to question it. Let's move on. But when it comes to people that use religion as that shield, I'm going to not really like question it because I will be confused though. Definitely, I will be confused. As in, just like it's unlogical. Like, I'm saying like a lot. I gotta stop. It's just, I see it as a flimsy excuse. I don't see it as adding to your character. I see it as you took something of which has a convenient excuse and you apply that to your life. That can be said about sex. That can be said about anything you do with your body. You don't use motherfucking... Oh, I shouldn't swear, should I? You don't play video games because your religion says it's violent. That's also a sign of cowardice. That's also a sign of one's lack of critical thinking. Like, have some merit. Have some self-respect into how you or why you do things. Don't base it off of what a group tells you to do. Base it on what you see as practical in your life. Base it on, the research of others. See how you can incorporate it into your life. For example, the type of job I want to do. They say when going into it, talk to experts. Talk to experts if you're unsure. Talk to experts if you think you did something right. Talk to experts several times a week in order to, master what you are trying to achieve with your job. Yeah, talk to experts. Incorporate it. Maybe mold it. Don't base it off of a religion or political beliefs, because those are beliefs. Meanwhile, somebody's own experience, not just yours, but somebody else's own experience, that is substantial. That is something that happened in real life. Like, I think differently from a lot of people. Like I said before, I got ADHD, and I've always thought in a different manner to how others would think. So, with that in mind, maybe I'm the one who has a flawed thought process in my stance on people's justifications for their actions. But also in this day and age, my generation, at least those I'm close with, value reasons. They value, the why in an action, in anything, because it helps us grow, it helps us develop our thinking, helps us refine our reasons. What will not refine your reasons, frankly, what will blind you is subscribing to a group, subscribing to religious organization or political party that frankly may not care about you. Like, hot damn, if most of the established groups does not care about me. Like, the only people I hang out with are the group I subscribe to are my friends, the ones that live with me, the ones that I've had in my hometown. And you know what? You do you. If you don't think what I said is applicable to you, go ahead. I believe in the First Amendment. But also, I believe by standing on your own. Obviously, it's good to have help with others, help from others. It's also good to help others, but it's flimsy to justify what you do through a group or through an organization. That I'm not talking about charities. I'm not talking about like nonprofits. Those are good people. I'm talking about like the religious, as in the Abrahamic religions in India, as in like you can do that in your free time if that has helped you mentally in the past. If that fulfills you, go ahead. If you have to justify it, if you have to use it as your shield rather than taking the criticism, rather than taking maybe the judgment for yourself, then that's, at least to me, questionable. And you know what? Frankly, it's worth with political parties. Just go by the political policy and go by your historical research on the policies policies. Again, that's what I have to say. Have some merit with your actions, with your responsibilities, with your personal values. That's what I look for in terms of strength within people. Not their, not their looks, not their race, gender, skin tone, where they're from. I don't really. That does. I'm trying not to say I don't see race. I know for a fact I can't. I know for a fact that's iffy for people. I just don't see that anybody's ethnicity as a problem. I do have a problem with is flimsiness. People not having merit. Adults not having merit. I will never apply this to a kid, like I've said. And I think that's it. Just That's my way of thinking. If you have a problem with it, yeah. If you think it can be improved upon, I will absolutely take any uh, uh, comments and criticisms. All right, bye.